This is the feminine hack that makes landlords say yes instantly. My name is JL Spooner and I became a property multi-millionaire in under 3 years. And I did this not by being super aggressive and super masculine. I know a lot of the time people say, go into your masculine energy, make it happen through that energy. And forget about your feminine energy. They only respect men in the property industry. Well, that's a lie. Actually, I made my success through using my feminine energy. And I did that in various different ways. When I was starting out and I started with the rent-to-rent strategy, I would tell people what I was doing. And I remember coming across landlords who wanted me to take on their rent-to-rent. They were and ahhing about the price and about who they were going to use and whether they were going to go with me or somebody else. So what did I do? I met the landlord for a coffee. And as I met the landlord for a coffee, I sat there right in front of him. I made sure I was dressed up and I looked amazing. And the first thing I said when he came in is, "Oh my God, you smell amazing." I also complimented him. He was a very, built up man, dashing man in his 50s, healthy. And he was fast paced. He was talking quickly, and really trying to, progress through the meeting. But once he'd locked eyes on me and saw that I was super girly and super feminine, he actually chilled out a little bit and decided to slow down and actually have a conversation with me using, his knowledge and experience. And the more he laid out his experience, the more I said, well, that's amazing. You've got so much experience in the industry. I didn't start bragging about all the things that I've achieved and I've done, because this conversation really wasn't about me. This conversation was about him. It was about the deal that he had that I wanted. So I made sure that I laughed at his jokes. I complimented him. I told him that I love to be of service. I expressed to him that property is my passion and I have a strong passion for people. Property is a people's business and I love to make sure that I give people somewhere beautiful to live, secure to live. I really positioned myself where most of us women are positioned, in the house. I made it clear that it was my job to take care of the house. It was my job to ensure that the house was organized and that the tenants were well vetted and well looked after. I also expressed to him that I was going to take care of the house. I was going to add value to the house. I was going to make sure that it looked better than it ever had before. He trusted me over the guy that he was going to have take over the property. Why? Because it's naturally built inside a man and a woman, inside everyone in modern society, that a woman takes care of a house. I say it all the time to my students. Property is a female business. Every female should be in the property industry, in my opinion, because that's our domain. I mean, seriously, I love guys and I definitely love my male students. But at the same time, when I see how they design their house over the way I design my house or the women design their house, they typically throw a mattress in a room with the plastic still on and tenant it. Whereas women are adding fluffy pillows, smellies and flowers. We truly know how to make a house a home, and that's why I think the property industry is perfect for women. Now, it was so hilarious. He said to me he would get back to me and confirm how everything went, but as soon as we left, within a few hours, he was messaging me and negotiating with me. I was very, very tough in my negotiation, but I still used my feminine energy. He wanted to negotiate it at 2,000. I wanted to negotiate it at 1,200 per month rent. How did I manage to get to 1,400 from 2,000? Well, I let him know, listen, I want to make sure that we've got a good price for the tenants. I want to make sure that the tenants are there for a long period of time. I'm not overselling the room. This will increase our chances of not having a rent-free period, meaning that it's going to be more profitable, meaning that I'm going to be more consistent as a business. If we do it where there is no profit in this deal, then, in 6 months when our break clause presents itself, I'm not going to want to carry on because it's unprofitable for me. I want to work with you for a long period of time. And I don't just want to take on this property. I want to alleviate you of all the stresses you have in all the properties that you have in your portfolio. My job is to work and be of service to you. And the only way I can do that is if this is also profitable for me. Well, he very much liked that. He liked the concept that I will always be there, that my loyalty was with him, that I would take on any and every property he throws at me as long as it stacks up and as long as it works. Delighted with the agreement, myself and him went back and forth on this rent to rent, trying to figure out whether we could get a rent-free period, because the property was not the licenses was not up to date. I had to update all the certification and get it relicensed. This meant I wasn't able to rent it out in its fullness. So for me to pay the rent on day one is not necessarily the best thing for the deal. So I further negotiated with him and I expressed to him that it's going to take 6 to 8 weeks to get it fully licensed, and I'm going to need a 2-month rent-free period. He was not happy with this and said he needed the money immediately. So we ended up negotiating that I would pay him 1 month's rent, 1 month's deposit up front, but after I pay, I have my 2 months rent-free period, and he agreed. Now, if anyone knows about licensed properties, once you submit the application, which I did on day one, I could in fact rent out 5 of the 10 rooms, but obviously he wasn't aware of that. And equally, I did have to renovate this property and do it up. So, it was very, very profitable for me. And it actually ended up being more than a rent to rent. It ended up being a lease option, which is basically when you secure a property for today's price and you pay for it in 7 years. Now, what's beneficial about that is capital appreciation. This property was secured at £300,000 and at this point is worth probably about 350, 370. So already when I do purchase this property, eventually it will be highly below market value. So that's my tip on how to use your feminine energy in the property industry. If you really liked this video and you want to learn more about the property industry, go ahead and subscribe because there'll be much more videos coming about property. If you want to learn more about the property industry in its fullness and need a mentor and someone to guide you so that you can become successful in the property industry, go ahead and register to my £1 masterclass. It's only £1 and it's a physical day spent with me where I will teach you how to become wealthy in property. Just register today. Anyway, have a wonderful day. I shall see you soon. Bye.